And welcome to week 21 of Walk the Plank, the Perry Athletic Department podcast that takes a deep dive into the week that was Perry Athletics. We'll also get into previewing this coming weekend's events. And as always, I'm joined by Gene Winters, our co-host here at Walk the Plank. Gene, thanks for being here.
Yeah, here we are in February already. It seems like winter sports was just getting going, and now we're coming towards the end. And you got your conference championships, and now soon the real playoffs are going to begin.
Yeah, the February certainly is the grind of the winter, not only from a weather standpoint, which we've all been enjoying this lovely Northeast Ohio weather over the last 3 or 4 weeks, but certainly the grind for all of our teams as we approach all of their postseason events will take place this month, at least the sectional and the district, and then as we get into March, it'll be if anybody qualifies for the state tournaments and things like that. That's when all that fun will happen. But February is sort of it's when all of our teams want to be peaking, right?
Yes.
They've started some of them back in October. They've all been working, off-season wise, summer stuff, summer workouts, lifting, all of the things that sort of encompass the season all come to fruition here in February, and we want to sort of be at our peak. So we're going to talk to somebody, though, who helps us be at our peak. And to my left here, I'm joined by Mary Ingaldi. She is our athletic trainer at Perry High School. Welcome to the show, Mary. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me on.
And let me thank you for all of the work that you do. I think all of our parents and all of our kids would echo that the sort of behind the scenes, and that's one thing we're going to do today. We're going to talk to Mary. She's a behind-the-scener. Ashley Gueswich, the athletic department secretary that has the toughest job in our district, keeping me on track. So she's going to be joining us as well. And so today's a little bit behind the scenes, pull back the curtain a little bit and take a look at some of the things we do that make our department work and click on a daily basis. And these two people we're going to talk to today certainly do that. But like I said, Mary, I think to echo what our parents and our kids would say, thank you, number one, for taking such good care of them on a daily basis. And we'll get into some of the things that people may not know about your job, that it literally is a 6-day-a-week job. We let you off on Sundays sometimes.
Yes. Sometimes
not.
Right.
Sometimes you're here 7 days a week. But really, let's just dive in a little bit into your background and how you came into this job of being an athletic trainer. Where did you go to high school? Did you grow up in the area? Where are you from originally?
So I'm actually not from Ohio.
Okay.
I'm from Pennsylvania. I grew up in Erie, Pennsylvania, which isn't super far from here. I went to Mercyhurst Prep and then Mercyhurst University after that. So I did competitive cheer in high school, and just seeing some health struggles with my grandma and my grandparents, I kind of knew I always wanted to be in a healthcare field, just didn't know quite what. Always really enjoyed sports growing up, watching them, participating in them. I've tried basketball, volleyball, softball, all of them.
Yeah.
So really enjoyed sports. And then I met my actual athletic trainer at Mercyhurst Prep, and she kind of introduced me to athletic training and got me really excited to go into the field.
Awesome.
Was it hard to transition from athlete to athletic trainer? I'm sure you still had those aspirations of being in competitive cheer or some of the sports you mentioned, but at some point the athleticism dies and you have to go in another direction.
It was really fun to participate in high school, and I kind of just wanted to focus more on school once I hit college. I went to Division II, so I wasn't really too interested with playing sports once I moved into college, just because it's a big time commitment. And I was actually discouraged from being on the dance team or doing anything like that just because of clinical hours and all that I would have had to do for the athletic training program. So it was just trying to find the balance between both of them.
So that freshman year of college, do you know, like, hey, this is what I want to do, like I'm on this path, and athletic training is like an actual full-time major? Like you said, you've got clinicals, you've got labs, you've got different things you got to do, but you were, from your freshman year on in college, that's what you were doing pretty much.
Yeah, I had to actually interview for the program my freshman year.
Okay.
So we took like the the basic general education courses, and then before we could take the specific athletic training courses, we had to go through and be like, okay, here's an interview, sit down with the professors,
Yeah.
and then you get accepted fully into the program from there. When I went to college, athletic training was a bachelor's degree,
Okay.
and then you would take your boards. Now it's transitions to an entry-level master's.
Okay.
So most kids start out as exercise science or pre-med and then transition into athletic training after their bachelor's.
Okay.
So it's a little bit different now where all of your clinical hours shift more towards your post-grad level,
Right.
whereas I got experience through all 4 years. So
Awesome.
it's a little
Great.
bit different.
Coming in as a freshman, did the hours and the work kind of scare you away? Did you think about something else, or was it, you know what, I'm dedicated to this because you mentioned grandparents and things
Yeah.
like that I'm going to see this thing through?
So before I fully started my freshman year, I believe I unofficially changed my major a couple times because I was thinking about x-ray, radiology technician, which was an associate's degree at the time. And I wanted more of a bachelor's 4-year degree, so that kind of influenced my switch. I wasn't fully aware of the hours involved in it until I started working and getting the clinical hours, but I didn't find it to be too hard to balance. So it all worked out.
And then, so you graduate, you go to Mercyhurst, you graduate with your degree, you're ready to be an athletic
Yes.
trainer. How did your career start out? Where did you start working? We're affiliated, our district is affiliated with university hospitals, obviously. Did you start working for UH right off the bat? Where have you been in your career? This is your first year at Perry, hopefully first of many.
Yes.
And so where did you start out that journey after college?
So I graduated in probably the roughest year to graduate. I
Okay.
graduated with my bachelor's in 2020.
Okay.
So I
COVID.
stayed, yeah, COVID.
Yeah.
So a lot of sports were shut down.
This is true.
So I stayed on for another year, and I got my master's degree in secondary education
Okay.
at Mercyhurst. And while I was working there, I was at Edinburgh University
Okay.
in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
Mostly just covering their athletic training room, and tennis was really the only sport that was fully competing. Got
Right.
some experience with their collegiate football team, but they were just doing spring training for the following season.
Right.
And then after that, I got hired by University Hospitals.
Okay.
I was at Conneaut High School for 4 years, and then this July will be my 5th year and my first full year here.
Awesome. Okay.
Now, going through UH, do they help place you at different high schools, or are you, like everyone else in the real world, throwing out your resumes and applications to anyone and everyone that will, that has an opening?
Right. So when they post athletic training positions, most of the time you don't see what school you're assigned to until you start having interviews for the position. So I didn't know that I would be at Conneaut High School originally. It worked out because it's probably the closest high school to Erie when I was starting.
Right.
But I mainly just signed on to work with University Hospitals. So
And then you'll go where they need you to go,
Yep.
so to speak. And yeah, so
Yeah.
you start in Conneaut. You're in Erie. That's about a 35, 40-minute drive now.
Yes.
Where are you at? You're living where, and where are you driving to get to here?
So currently, right
Okay.
now, I'm in Conneaut
Okay.
with my boyfriend.
Yeah.
We're living together, and I drive in from Conneaut, and the hope is eventually both of us will get jobs more in Lake County.
Okay.
And transition and move
A little
closer.
bit quicker of a
Yeah.
drive, right? It's
Yes.
like this winter has been. We're usually texting on snow days and stuff like that. I'm like, Mary, don't come in. You're okay, because
Yeah.
you need to
Always.
driving Route 90 in a
Oh, yeah.
blizzard to get here.
Did you talk with our last trainer Adam at all about
Yeah.
this position and try to get a feel? Because I'm sure all
Yeah.
high schools are different, but
Oh, yeah.
most of the sports are the same.
Yeah, Adam helped me out for the first couple weeks. He was here, showed me where everything was, helped me get an inventory started for the following school year, just helped me see the needs and what he does when he covers the events here. So that was really great to have because it helped my transition be a lot smoother. So that was a great help, and I still have him as a reference or a call if I need him for anything.
What would you say the biggest, and as a former Conneaut Spartan myself, I was born there, so I never went to school there, but I lived there until I was 3, and both my parents are from Conneaut, so we still go back quite a bit. What's the biggest difference between, a Perry and a Conneaut, and whether it's a positive or a negative? I think we host more events here.
Yes, definitely.
In terms of CVC and districts and OHSA events.
Right. Conneaut is definitely, so school population size is about the same
Yeah,
between
very
Conneaut and
similar.
Perry.
Yep.
Divisions are similar. Definitely host more events here. District finals. Perry's a lot more centrally located,
Yeah.
so I believe that holds a lot to it.
Right.
Conneaut's expanding their sports too, so I feel like they're going to be catching up here in the near future.
Right.
But it was a great start at Conneaut, and I think it prepared me pretty well for all the demands of what Perry offers, and it's
Right.
a little bit more to my schedule, but
Yeah.
it's great to be here and be at a very competitive school. So
Awesome.
And through all the sports, what is the most common injury? I'm going to guess rolled ankle, but maybe not.
ankle sprains
Yes.
is probably the most common that I see. That's just kind of a common wear and tear. Most sports have running of some sort. So I see that most often. Wrist sprains, wrist tapes are probably second. And then actually like finger fractures, finger sprains, finger stubs, all the finger injuries.
And since we're keeping you away a little bit, I know basketball is going to be practicing. Are you going to be able to wrap everyone? Like I'm
Oh, yeah.
guessing your technique is going to be very quick to get them
Yes.
into practice on time.
So I definitely, when I was learning ankle tapes, it was definitely a lot slower than it is now,
Right.
but I've had kids time me and I can tape an ankle in under a minute. So
Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite part of the job? What do you like most about this job as an athletic trainer?
yeah, so my favorite part is just being able to help kids in high school succeed. It's really rewarding when they want to be an athletic trainer or work in sports medicine or just in the healthcare field.
Yeah.
I like being able to prepare them for that, and then hopefully they don't get injured, but if they do, helping them get back to their best performance is really rewarding for
And
me.
as quick as possible, right?
Yes.
Sometimes that's what we're up against.
Yeah,
I can think
timelines.
of a girls basketball player
Yeah.
who, had ankle injury, as
Mm-hmm.
we talked about, and we want to get her back, but we don't want to get her back too
Too soon. Right.
and have her re-injure. So that's that fine line of being an athletic trainer where you can really make a difference in whether, especially if we're coming up to the sectional and the districts. Like, I know she wants to play, and helping her along that path to sort of get there as fast as possible while, again, being cautious about it.
Right.
What would you say to whether they're an athlete or a student out there who wants to be an athletic trainer? What would you recommend? Like you mentioned earlier, the path has changed a little bit now. It's a little bit different type of setup. What would you encourage them to do to go about doing that?
Yeah. I would say just get as much experience as you can in the field. If you want to start helping as a student aide in high school, that'll be great because it'll help you prepare and kind of see the realities of the job. And I mean, if it's not for you, that's okay. But if you know that already before you go into a college setting, it'll really help you as you move through the process.
And if we have anybody out there listening, what should they do if they want to help here at Perry? Are we looking
Yeah.
for people, or will we help people if that's an option for them?
Yeah, I have one student aide right
Okay.
now who helps me out filling waters and
Right.
just helping with taping as I need it. Just reach out to me, my email address. Just reach out and I'm happy to help and
Okay.
work with your schedule if you want to come in and help me.
Yeah, and for those of you know, if there's parents out there listening, Mary is part of our email system here at Perry. She's got an extension in her office. If you need, so you have a question about your student athlete, please reach out to us. We'll put you in contact with Mary. You can reach out to her directly, and she's extremely helpful and ready to go, and is all about the kids, and that's what we love about her. So
Thank you.
Yes, and so I guess that said, from a daily perspective, what is, just to give people, again, that sort of peek behind the curtain,
Yeah.
what are you doing on a daily basis in terms of, yes, you're filling water, yes, you're taping ankles, but and then we've got a lot of gym space here. We've got a
Right.
lot of fields all over the place. How do you handle all that in terms of the mass amount of, if you talk to Jim Smith, our maintenance director, 1 million feet of square footage in our
Yeah.
district? How do you cover all that?
So usually my typical day is I'll come in at around 2 o'clock, so right
Okay.
before the kids get out of school. I'll check my emails, make sure I know what's going on for the day. And then any kids, as they prepare for practice right after school, I'll tape them, get water set up, wheel them down to the basketball court right now.
Right.
And then from there, I basically just bounce between practices. I try to stay with what's mostly high contact, and then I'm available if any of the other sports need me, and just basically keep an eye on what everybody's doing and bounce between. And then if we have a game or event, make sure we're all set up and prepared for those before
Ready
the
to
game
roll.
starts. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, very busy. Like
Yeah.
it seems like, it seems like it's a easy task to make sure the kids are ready, but there's so much more that goes that is involved into it, and that part of it too, where not only are you here for the Perry athletes, but now you're here for the opposing team too.
Right.
If something were to happen, because I'm guessing most teams aren't traveling their
No.
athletic trainers around, so now you're
Right.
responsible for another batch of kids.
Right. So sometimes that is interesting because I don't know those kids as well,
Sure.
obviously, as I know our kids. So sometimes kind of gaining their own level and mental space if they have an injury, which hopefully not, is
Yeah.
kind of challenging sometimes. But yeah, aside from football, I'm usually the only athletic
Yeah,
trainer that's covering
absolutely,
the
for
event.
sure. Yeah, we had a couple of them last night from Geneva. We had a very physical basketball game last night. It was like a mini football game, and both sides were going pretty hard. We had a bloody nose, I
Yep.
believe, an elbow to the nose, and we had another injury at Geneva. So Mary's right there, and it's like, everything's fine until it's not.
Right.
Until
And they
somebody's
always
injured,
happen
not-
all at once.
Yes, they do. So she can't be in 5 different places, but sometimes it's a couple. She can go
Right.
from the gym to the field house pretty quickly, but she does a fantastic job for us. So thanks, Mary, for all that
Thank
you
you.
do for us here at Perry and for our student athletes. Again, I know we're all very appreciative of that. Before we get you out of here and
Yeah.
let you go start taping ankles for the day and getting our practices and ready to go, and we've got a girls basketball game tonight.
Yes,
We're
we do.
shooting this at about 2:30 here on Wednesday afternoon. Just some get-to-know-you questions here. No wrong answers as we rip through these.
All right.
What is your favorite food?
Mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese. Now, like a homemade mac and cheese, or do you at a favorite restaurant? Where are you getting it?
Usually homemade if I can make it.
Okay.
But I like any and all mac and cheese.
Any and all mac and cheese. A mac and cheese connoisseur. All
Yes.
right. How about favorite movie? And if not a movie, if you're not a movie person, TV, show, or series?
So I've always really liked the sports movies.
Yeah.
The Blind Side is coming up
Okay.
as one I really like.
That's
I'd
Sandra
probably-
Bullock?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. I like that one too. Any hobbies? You're here a lot. You mentioned your schedule. We get a little bit of a break in the summer. Not a big one because August
Right.
1 rolls around real quick. And track and baseball. I mean, baseball state finals this year, I think are like June 20th
Yeah.
or something
Oh,
like
wow.
that. So there's no pressure. Coach
Right.
Glad
No
to be
pressure on
there,
baseball.
but that's when the finals are, and so I know that's their goal. So it's
Right.
one of those things. There's a little bit of break. July's nice, but any hobbies outside of all the time you spend here at Perry with our kids?
Just basically when I'm at home trying to decompress. I really like coloring books.
Okay.
Sometimes I do yoga.
Okay,
Just basically try and relax and chill.
awesome. I'm not sure if you're a big phone person. Gene added this one for our kids. He's looking for new games or apps on his phone. What would your favorite app or game be?
A game I really got into recently is called Pixel Flow. I
Okay.
don't know if you have it. So it's basically like they have little pixels that make up an image and you have to tap the certain colors and it sends it around, and the objective is just to clear the keys or clear the gates, and it's really fun.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to tell Vanessa about that one. She likes the color as well.
I'm going to have to ask my daughter. I'm
So-
sure she has it.
Pixel
Yeah.
Flow, so
Yeah.
we'll make that note. All right, so you've only been here since July. It's year 1. What are some of your favorite memories of whether it's here or Conneaut or any time being an athletic trainer? What are some of your top ones?
Well, some of my favorite memories is just seeing the kids go to state championships. I've
Yeah.
had some wrestlers at Conneaut that have gone to states, and just seeing the excitement and how the community supported them. Here,
That's great.
I'd say community support when we went to play Glenville,
Yeah.
the parade.
Right.
That was a favorite memory.
Right. Okay. Awesome. And if you could visit any place in the world, last question for you.
Yeah.
Money's not an object. Where are you heading?
Italy.
Italy.
That's,
Awesome.
I think,
It's a
3
popular
weeks in a
answer.
row now.
Yeah, that's a popular answer.
Yeah.
A good place to go.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Marion Galdi, athletic trainer here at Perry High School. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
for everything you do
Thank
for
you,
our
TJ.
kids, and thanks for being here on the show today. And good luck tonight as we take on Gilmore and girls basketball.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mary. Yeah, an under-heralded, underappreciated job that not many people, like we said, until something happens that's
Yes.
not the best, she definitely flies under the radar, but she does great things when she's needed and does a great job.
You're like the offensive lineman, right? You don't want to be known until, not for a bad thing, but you don't want to, you just want to fly under the radar, do your business, and get in and get out.
And she's great at it.
Yes.
So, all right, Marion Gall, the athletic trainer here at Perry High School. We will transition again. We'll keep the sort of behind the. Oh, do we want to do Mary Lynn so she can go to swim? Come on up. Mary Lynn Casala. We'll quick transition here. We'll go on the fly. Thanks for being here, Mary Lynn. She just got out of class. Our bell rang there. You probably heard that. Mary Lynn, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here. You are Female Athlete of the Week. Coach Scheider, nominated you, and you get a couple of certificates there. Raising Cane's, a box combo, and then the DQ here in Perry is a great sponsor of ours for our Student Athlete of the Week as well. So you get a meal deal and a blizzard at the Perry DQ. So, again, welcome to the show. We're just going to talk about the season so far and how things have been going. We talked earlier that February really is sort of our a busy time, but also the time where all of our athletes want to be sort of hitting their peak performance of the year, because now we're going to have sectionals coming up here in a little bit. Our regular season is wrapping up. So how has the season been going for you? Just an overall general question to get started so far.
Yeah, so my season's been going really well for me.
Okay.
Definitely going better than last year. I've been improving in my times really well, so I'm just happy to see that. And I started a new event this year, so it's been good to see me improve in that too.
Yeah, Coach Scheider actually mentioned that in his nomination of you, that you're doing two very tough events, 200 IM and the 500.
Yeah.
So which is they both sound tough to me.
Yeah.
But what is the tougher of the two, or they both really are?
I think the 200 IM is harder.
Okay.
Like I said, I haven't swum that yet. This is my first season swimming it, and I don't know. It's just hard, switching every stroke.
So explain that and what that means. I think I have an idea of what that means, but the 200 means you're going 50 yards of each.
Yeah,
each stroke. And what are the 4 strokes that you're doing?
Butterfly, backstroke, breaststroke, and freestyle.
See, I would mess that up. Which one should I do next?
Yeah.
So that's pretty. Yeah. So you have to be essentially a master of all 4 of those strokes to have some success in that thing. So when sectionals come, we're at sectionals next weekend. How are you looking? What are some of your goals for sectionals they'll be at Cleveland State instead of at Spire, so that's a little bit different. But next Friday when we're at sectionals, what are some of your goals for that weekend?
Yeah, most of my goals are just to go to districts in all 4 of my events. I don't really have any time goals.
Okay.
I really want our medley relay and our 400 free relay to go. That's my main goal right now, but it would be awesome if I could go in all 4 of my events.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Well, before we talk more about you individually, who are your relay partners?
Kira Hevlin, Emma Jones, Noelle Griffith, and me. So.
Okay. And now individually for you, do you have one that's your favorite, one that maybe is your least favorite, or that you're improving on?
For individual events, I really like the 500. That's my favorite event, just because it's easy for me to. It's hard mentally because it's such a long race, but it's easy for me to just go out there and swim it. Where in the 200 IM, it takes a lot of physical strength from me, because obviously the butterflies first, so I just get really tired very quickly in that race.
And I know a lot of people have seen the Perry pool. So when you say 500, how many times are we going back and forth, just so I can process this?
Back and forth 10 times.
Jeez. Okay.
Back and forth. So 20 times.
Yeah.
Down is 1, back is 2.
Yes.
That's 20 times. And what is your time? How long does it take you to complete the 500? Which, by the way, again, Coach Scheider in his nomination, 2nd place at the CVC in the 500. Pretty darn impressive.
Yeah.
How long does it take you to swim that 500?
For my PR right now is 6:22.
Okay. See, that would take me 26, 22. So that's an impressive time. And again, 2nd place at the CVC in that 500. So.
And what is your strategy for the 500? Obviously, you're not going full go right away. You have to go up and down 20 times. So how do you know when to turn it on? How do you know that you're keeping pace with the other athletes?
For me, it's a lot of mentality. So I just have to tell myself swim your own race, and I just try and keep the same pace most of the time, 38 seconds for each 50. I usually kick it up right at the second half, because one of my coaches told me in the past, like, pace it like a mile, like each 5, like your first 400, like your second 400, and that's helped me quite a bit. So
do you have anything left at the end for the last down and back, the last 2 lengths? Or is it a full out sprint, or is it just like, all right, we're not coast, but like how intense are those last 2 down and backs?
The last 2, I just give it all. Like, everything left I have in the tank, I just take it there. And
is your favorite sound the bell going off because you know it's your last lap, right? That's got to be a pretty good sound to hear at the end of that race.
Yeah, it is.
Good.
And with all the noise and the cheering and everything that is going on, how do you identify or hear your coach? Or again, are you just in your own mind knowing that I need to just concentrate on myself?
Well, Coach Amy, she's pretty loud, so I can pick out her voice very easy, but she usually, like, is right on the end, so when I take a breath, I'm able to, like, see her. She's like, go.
Okay.
So.
As I wondered about that, because if you come to a swim meet, whether here at Perry or at Cleveland State or Spire, wherever, the coaches are up and down the pool deck, but sometimes you could be in lane 1, you could be in lane 6, whatever, you could be in the middle. I just wonder how, because I see coaches doing this, or and I see these signals. I'm like, the kids can't see you. What are you doing? But can you see them? And can you obviously you can hear them a little bit. But do you see them as well? Like as you're turning your head for a breath, can you see some of their instructions? Okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah. I would be oblivious to that. So.
And as you continue to improve on your times, I know when we've had Noelle and Brody in and other swimmers over the last 2 years, getting to the pool and making your turn, is that an area that you're strong in, is something that you're improving to make sure you're coming back with your full force coming back the other direction?
Yeah, we work on them a lot, and I want to make sure, like, I want to get as far as I can underwater, because that helps me, like, I don't even know the words I'm looking for. That helps me to keep, like, have much energy above water, because it, like, keeps me on pace.
And when did you start swimming? Not maybe you started in high school, but were you in the pools a lot earlier than that?
I started competitive swimming when I was 7 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so what club do you swim for, and how much off-season work are you doing, or when does club season start? Just to give people an idea of all, our season starts end of October, and again, our state meet will be end of February. What are you doing March to September from a club perspective?
I don't really swim for club.
Okay.
Brian and Amy, they coach a summer team for the Suburban League, so I have been swimming there.
Awesome.
But I don't really do anything. In the spring, I usually take off. Summer, I swim, and then in the fall, I run cross country. So. Okay.
And then for you, is Mr. Rockwell mentioned sectionals are next week at Cleveland State. You guys have already swam at Cleveland State. Is there a little bit of an advantage there? Are you comfortable in that pool? Is it a pool that you like?
Yeah, it's nice that we already swam there because, like, I'm used to it. I know what to expect. I think it's a nice pool. It honestly just depends on the day because sometimes you can swim really bad there and sometimes you can swim really good there. So.
Now, is there, and I'm sure every athlete is different, and I know Coach Schneider has what he likes. Is there an ideal temperature that you like to swim in?
I feel like low 70s. I don't really pay attention to the temperature right now.
So either way, I know it was really hot the other day, so we're working on that because it was like way over the top. Because we like to keep it, and again, we've got to keep the balance. Obviously, our priority is always to our athletes, and during swim season, Mrs. Guesswich and I get yelled at a lot by our PAC members because we take the temperature down. We try to get it close to 80 as we can, and when it's not swim season, it's like 84, 85. So it's significantly different for our membership at the PAC. But they know that we're here. It's Pirate Athletic Center for a reason, so they know why we do what we do. But low 70s is pretty darn cold. But I heard at Cleveland State it was really cold outside of the pool.
Yeah.
They had a heating issue, so hopefully they have that fixed by next weekend. We'll see how it goes. Well, Mary Lynn, thanks for being here. Congratulations on a great year so far. Best of luck. As you mentioned, your goal, getting to districts in all 4 of those events, and we'll keep everybody up to date as we get those sectionals finalized. And I think we're gonna have Coach Scheider on that week of districts, so we'll be able to update everybody. So best of luck at the sectional meet. Before we get you out of here, we're just gonna get you to some get to know you questions. No wrong answers here. As we fire these ones off at you, what is your favorite food?
I really like pizza. I know that's
Okay.
such a basic answer, but
That's
I
okay.
do.
Now I'm gonna follow it up with where do you like your pizza from, or is it just literally like any like school cafeteria pizza, or are you looking at like K-Jack's Pizza which is the new place in town? So.
It doesn't really matter,
Okay.
but I really like Marco's Pizza.
Marco's
Yeah.
specifically. I've not had that in a while. It's actually
Yeah,
pretty good.
that was a favorite of mine way many moons ago.
All right.
I'm sure it's still delicious.
Yeah.
All right, I like it. We haven't had the pizza answer in a while, so that's not basic answer. Favorite subject in school?
I really like math.
Okay.
Yeah.
And favorite movie, and if not a movie, a television series or show.
Oh, I love Mamma Mia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any hobbies outside? You mentioned you run cross country in the fall. You're doing some club stuff, swim team in the summertime. What do you like to do outside of whether it's academics or athletics here at Perry?
I really like reading, and then just obviously like sports takes up a lot of my time.
Right.
So
Okay.
just doing that.
Awesome. Do you have a favorite app or game on your phone?
I like Instagram.
Okay, you got that.
Yes,
one.
that
Okay.
I do like that one.
Yeah.
So far, favorite memory from Perry, and it can be athletic, it can be academic, it can be any other club or anything you participate in. What are some of your favorite memories of going to school here in the Perry district?
I really like last year. One of my favorite memories, especially for swim, was winning CVC champ 6 years in a row.
Right.
It was really sad not to win again, but
I know we came in
Yeah.
second. We got nipped there at the end, but quite an accomplishment. Wrestlers are in the same boat. They just won their sixth, so I think there's you never want to be that team that doesn't win it. But it was all of your time here at Perry, you won every year, and second is it just is what it is. It just didn't go our way that day, but a fantastic run, and now we just have to start another one.
Yeah.
So that's all.
Yeah.
Visit any place in the world. Money's not an object. Where are you heading?
probably Greece.
Okay, Greece.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's on the list.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
very seen pictures.
Yeah.
All right, Mary Lynn Casala, thank you for your time.
Yes.
Best of luck next week at
Thank you.
sectionals,
Thank
and
you.
congrats on a great year so far.
Thank you so much
All
for
right.
having me.
Yes, anytime. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's the exciting part. A couple of swim meets that happened earlier this week, and now you as you talked about, you taper down a little
Yeah.
bit, but get yourself ready for sectionals.
And we didn't really get into that with Mary Lynn, but that's one thing I know that they're going to be doing. That from a tapering standpoint, they're actually not the practices are not easy, but they're doing less yardage every day in prep to make sure that their bodies are completely 1,000% ready to go, and they can essentially, for lack of a better word, like sell out and go full bore when it comes time for sectionals and districts, and they've got a little bit more energy as opposed to if they're swimming 6,000 yards in a day, and you're going to compete the next day
Yes.
in sectionals. Probably not the best recipe for success. So that taper is happening right now, and we'll continue to follow our swim team as we get into these sectionals and districts. And best of luck to them.
Yeah, again, it's that nice part again is you're getting down towards the end, and this is the part that all these athletes have been training for all season long to get to this point, to get into the sectionals, get into districts, and continue on right down to state championships.
Absolutely. And before we bring up Ashley, because I mentioned we're going to have her on, let's talk a little bit about Owen Jerry. He is our male athlete of the week. He was unable to join us today, but I just want to highlight some of the things in regards to our bowlers and been in touch with their coach, Coach Cannon. We finished 7th last week at the CVC tournament out of 10 teams. So again, we are a club sport. We're new. This is year 2. I say year 1.5. We ended up bowling starting in January of last year. So we didn't even bowl an entire season last year. It was just sort of the second half of the season. So first full season. Owen placed 16th at the CVC tournament last week. He missed second team by only 4 spots, which again, each team's got 6 bowlers. So you're talking about 60 kids. He was right there knocking on the door in regards to being that second teamer, and they're going to participate in the OHSAA tournament coming up next week as well. So they've had a great experience. I want to shout out to Sunny Lanes over in Geneva. They've worked very well with us. They want to expand bowling. Obviously as an alley, the more people bowl, the better off for them. And they've done a great job of sort of bringing our team, welcoming our team, and so on. So Of the bowlers on our team, 4 are in their really 1.5 season of bowling. The rest are in their first. So really with that experience, the fact that we were able to beat 4 other schools at CVCs, and we'll see what come in at sectionals, which is over at Wycliffe Lane. So we'll keep everybody up to date. So again, Owen couldn't be here. Maybe we could have Coach Cannon on here in the coming weeks, and we can sort of promote them a little bit here. It's just like all of our sports are going to be hitting these postseason tournaments now.
Well, that's the part too. Reading about Owen a little bit, getting ready for today. He was almost close to a 500 series, in that, where you're thinking that's 170 pins or points or however you want to describe it per match. The 3 match to get to that 17th ranking. Just an amazing feat for, I'm guessing, someone that's been bowling for a while, but on the competitive side for a short amount of time.
Well, to do it when it counts, right?
Yes.
Like if we're going out on a Saturday night and hitting the bowling alley, like it's fun and you just kick back and have some fun. Now there's real pressure.
Yes.
You stand up there, and every roll you make, it's going to count toward the team perspective. There's some inherent pressure there. So again, hats off to Coach Cannon. We'll look to have him on in a little bit and sort of talk as we get closer to the sectional tournament for our bowling program.
Yeah, and that's the part now. You get into the end of it and trying to continue to take that team and even on the girls' side to continue to make that little push to get into a postseason and make a little bit of a run.
Absolutely. All right, let's call up Ashley Gusowich here. We'll get her. Mary had, she's out taping ankles. Mary Lynn's going to swim practice now. She won't be late. Doesn't look like we got her out here. But it's the witching hour in the athletic department, so I know we're going to get.
I've gotten many texts already.
I'm sure you have. So if you don't know, it's sort of calm is probably an too easy of a word. It's not calm for the entirety of the day, but certainly come 2 o'clock to 9 p.m. 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. is crazy in our neck of the woods and in our world. So we've got her down here. It's 2:49 right now, so I'm not surprised you're getting the text and everything. But again, as I said earlier, she's got the toughest job in the district, and I say that not really joking. She's got to keep me in line. She's got to keep Mindy in line. And so now with Mindy coming on board, she's got to keep 2 pretty hectic people in line and make sure we're all squared away and ready to go. So she is sort of the lifeblood of our athletic department. And welcome to the show.
Well,
I don't have any certificate for
that's
you.
All right.
But that's all right.
That's okay. Thank you.
But yeah, she does a great job. You are in your first full year. You're sort of like the bowling team.
Yeah.
I
You're
am.
like 1.5,
Yeah.
right? And so Ashley started with us last January, taking over for the longtime athletic department secretary, Tony Ovens. She was here 26 years, did a fantastic job. I learned a ton from Tony when I first started here, and she helped me tremendously. And then we were able to spend some time. I guess just talk a little bit about your transition. We were able to spend some important time with Tony before she retired. But so you started last January, like 4th or 5th,
Right
or
after
something
Christmas
like that,
break,
right after
yeah.
break, and sort of hit the ground running from that point on.
Yeah. So I started working in Perry, though. This is now my 4th year in Perry. I was in elementary library first, which I really enjoyed, but athletic department is always that was the goal from the get-go.
Yeah.
So I was very excited when I knew Tony was going to retire, I was very excited to apply for this position. Applied, interviewed, got it, and then luckily I was able to sit with Tony the whole month of January last year. So we did. I came on right after break. Tony retired the very last day of January, so aside from a few snow days and the birth of her grandson, which I will say, I think I was in the job for 2 days and then she left me for a day. But it was really good. She was so organized. She had, a book, I'm talking 5 inches thick of information. She had everything so well organized in the Google Drive and saved on the hard drive of the computer. Really sat with me, and I was able to learn so much in that month. I won't lie, I questioned the time of her retirement without knowing any piece of the job, but she knew exactly what she was doing.
Yeah, right. Yes.
She did.
Right. Yes.
Her timing was perfect. I was able to come in and learn during kind of the lull of winter, January. Everything is up and running.
Right.
We're not to postseason quite yet.
Right.
So I was able to really learn that. and then I wrapped up winter on my own, so I could finish the season.
Right.
I could start spring, which has number-wise our fewest sports.
But arguably craziest days.
Yep.
Trying to figure out when we're playing, if we're playing, who we're playing. It's pretty hectic down there.
Yep. But I was able to start and close out spring on my own. Kind of learn the off-season stuff over the summer, getting physical switched out, getting updated forms out there, everything, and then come August 1. Start with fall, but I had already started and closed out some seasons, and so while August 1 was just August in general was a lot, if I would have started there, it would have been a whole different story.
Yeah, absolutely.
And going through it now for a couple of seasons, is winter the hardest, spring the hardest? What's the one that is the hardest to kind of not plan for, but reschedule for, because a lot of events get canceled?
Spring. Softball and baseball, it seems like every year and just even as a mom who has kids that play softball, as a coach who I coach our youth softball teams, it seems like every spring is the rainiest spring we've ever had, or the coldest or something.
Yeah.
So spring is hard to reschedule because you don't want to have to cancel these games.
Right.
So, but then you have to make these decisions, and then there's the whole long list of people you have to tell. So it's just remembering that you've got to let the families know. You've got to let the umpire assigner know.
Yeah.
You've got to let the busing know. There's a lot of people that have to be told, and if one person's not told, then
you feel bad,
then
right?
you do.
And it
You
happens.
do.
It
Yep.
happens, where you don't announcer when we moved our basketball game a couple of weeks ago in our first round of snow days. He texted me at like 3 p.m. We had canceled the game around noon. I'm like, forgot about the announcer.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. And then obviously didn't show up, which was good. But it's just the list is long, and you never want to forget anybody, because you don't want anybody to feel like they're not important or they're not.
Right.
It's you got to cover all your bases.
And we did have a lot of snow days for this winter, so we did have a lot
It's
of
been a
communication having to go out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's I'm done with snow days personally, so we're good.
I'm
Like,
ready
let's
for
just
our spring weather.
Just stay in school, get the weather over with, and no cancellations, because that then we got to talk about practice times and who's practicing, or is the PAC open? I mean, there's lots of things that still take up the day. So believe me, on a snow day, we're not sitting around eating chocolate chip cookies and hot chocolate. We're working, trying to figure out exactly what the day is going to bring us, and so we're ready to stay in school, finish this winter season off strong. Ashley, just like Mary, what was some of your background? Where did you grow up? Where did you go to high school? Have you always been involved in athletics, and how did this sort of this whole job of being involved in the athletic department sort of come to fruition for you?
So I am from Gahanna. It's a suburb of Columbus. Graduated from Gahanna Lincoln High School. While I was a high school student, I played softball and volleyball. And during my study, what was it called? Study hall? Yeah.
Yeah,
that was,
right, yeah.
We didn't have the
We don't
periods
have
off.
those.
I know.
Yeah, we
It
don't
was
have
during
those
my
anymore.
study hall, I went to the athletic department. I knew the athletic director well.
Okay.
They had, Gahanna's a large school. So they had an AD, they had an assistant AD, and then they had a secretary.
Okay.
So I went in there and asked if I could be like an office aide during my study hall, and they said, yes, sure. The assistant AD was actually my softball coach.
Oh, okay.
And so I just kind of learned even then, what all went on in athletic department. And I always loved playing sports. And I just thought I would love to be with athletics. So I started that in high school. Then I went on to Bowling Green and actually thought I wanted to work in a school, but I thought I wanted to be a teacher.
Yeah.
So I went in for early childhood education to teach elementary, and did that all of my freshman year. My first semester of my sophomore year, they put me in an elementary school at one of the nearby school districts, and I hated it. To be honest, I was in a kindergarten class, and I thought at 19 years old, I'm like, I don't think this is what I can do.
Right.
So for the second semester of college, I switched to sports information, athletic communications, sports information, which was kind of all wrapped into one major with a minor in journalism. And I decided my dream job was going to be working in the athletic department for Ohio State.
Right.
Work with communications, do, sports information is just doing things with the program and getting stats out there and press conferences and everything.
Day-to-day operation stuff,
So while at Bowling Green, I interned both in the Bowling Green athletic department, and then over the summer, I had an internship with Ohio State.
Okay.
I worked many Bowling Green football, basketball, and volleyball games. Loved being up in the press box, loved being with the media. Doing my internship with Ohio State, I did get to work. I worked one football game in their press box and with their media, and that was unbelievable.
I bet.
Actually, what was really cool is while I was at BG, we played, when I was there, we hosted Wisconsin at Cleveland Browns Stadium. So I got to work I was in the Browns press box too.
Awesome.
Press boxes are a whole different world up there.
Yeah.
But
Gene probably knows about that more than me, that's for sure.
But it was, so I knew I wanted to be in sports. And then I applied for a few sports information jobs, like within athletic departments, right out of college. But to be honest, nothing really came about. I ended up going back to Columbus and just getting a corporate job with Bob Evans. Kind of not really knowing where I wanted sports to take me until essentially I was married with kids, and I thought I want to be with high school sports.
Yeah.
So long
and here
story.
You are.
I finally, in my 40s, I got to do what I wanted to do. So I've raised my kids to the point that they are now, and they're all in sports, and my husband's in sports, and I'm in sports, and it's what eventually I got the dream.
All right.
And you never turned sports off, so are you a bigger college or pro fan than the other, or are they equal?
So growing up in Columbus, my family had season tickets to Ohio State games. So I am college first. I definitely, being up here in Cleveland, being to Browns games and Cavs games, I've enjoyed it. But if I were to have to choose, when I schedule my softball practices in some of the winter times, I will schedule them on a Sunday, and parents will text, well, what about the Browns game? I said, I know, but I'm a Buckeye fan. So as long as I've got my Saturdays clear. So when it comes to it, I would go college first. But ultimately, my favorite level is high school, just because it's the most community-based teams that you can get. The players that we watch are my neighbors, are my kids' friends, are who we get to see at the grocery store, and that's my favorite, honestly.
Yeah. Well, that's the same thing when we had Cameron Palmer in here last year.
Yes.
We talked about that, and he was talking about, ultimate goal is to get to, covering a pro team. And I told him the same thing that you just said. The high school sports is what's fun. The kids still care. They want to be here. They want to win for their community and their teammates. It's not about the money and all these other things. It's about the love of the game, and that's where that's what makes high school sports unique compared to all the rest.
Yep, it is.
And Ashley, what would you say? What's the most challenging part of this job, and maybe the second part of that would be what's the most rewarding part of it?
Most challenging would be, well, right now, finding gym space for everyone. You've got winter still going.
It's impossible.
And spring in Ohio doesn't really start till mid-April. So we're, trying to find gym space and you want to give everyone what they want, and it's just, it's not possible. So you do have to let some people know, sorry, you have to practice at 7 p.m. and that's not ideal.
Or we don't practice. Sometimes that happens. And because it is for sure, the busiest time is now. It's February and March up until spring break. And then hopefully we can get outside when we get back from spring break, and we don't have to worry about it. But we will have days in April. I can almost assure everyone that we will not be outside, and it'll snow, and we'll have to figure something out. But and we're very fortunate. Our facilities here are great.
Yes.
But as I look at Ashley's computer every morning on Easy Facility, we have 40 things, places to practice. Court 1, Court 2, Court 3 in the field house. That's, and there's so many of them, and we're very fortunate.
I think it was in January when I printed off the month of scheduled events, and things get added. So this isn't even the final number. We had nearly 430 events scheduled using one thing of our facility. So and that's throughout the whole month. So we are very fortunate, but we have a lot of pieces to put together. So my favorite part though is definitely getting ready for the different athletic events. I mean, football, while I played volleyball and softball, football ultimately is my favorite sport. So in the fall, just getting ready for home games and making sure that we had everything that the media needed with their passes, and making sure that we had the rosters out for the media and the coaches in the press box, and I don't know, just getting ready for football games.
Yeah, the excitement of Friday night in Ohio and in a football game. And again, it's sort of that behind the scenes stuff no one really knows about. And just like Mary, until she's needed for a bloody nose, or I think we had a kid hit his head last night from Geneva. Until that happens, you don't really get noticed. And that's what Ashley does a great job of, and really our department overall, Mindy as well. Like you don't really want to be known. We're not looking for a bunch of pats on the back or anything like that. But as soon as a bus doesn't show up for a team to take them somewhere, or an official doesn't show up to referee a game, or the opposing team doesn't show up, all of these have happened throughout my 25 years. Now you're in the spotlight when you don't want to be, because they're like, oh, what did Rockwell screwed that up? And so it's really a team effort in our department, and we all handle different things, but Ashley handles the brunt of it. And from an organizational standpoint, and making sure all of those ducks are in a row, Shelly Monis with our tickets and our, making sure there's somebody there to charge people as they come in.
Maintenance knows, hey, we need field set up, we need windows washed.
Right. They're endless, and so it's a job that comes, from her standpoint. No one really knows, and that's why I wanted to have her on today, just to talk a little bit about it and say, hey, she's doing a great job. And it's one of those things that, again, you're just flying under that radar, and just that underappreciated piece of the athletic department. But I told Tony this when she retired. We had won a state championship within recent, and we're very fortunate here. We have great kids, we have great coaches, great community. Our parents are very supportive. We're very fortunate from that, because I can tell you, I've been in different places. It's not the same. But she does have an impact on these teams' success, and whether it's getting them an extra practice time, squeezing them here and there. Okay, you can't have this, but you can have this. It makes a difference in the success of a team. And so, both Tony and Ashley have had impact on all of our kids throughout the programs on all of these teams across the board. So whether it's youth, middle school, or high school, she's running all of those practice times and all those facility requests amongst every other thing. So, love having her, love working with her, and she's doing great stuff. So, what else can we talk about?
I was just wondering, like, on a day-to-day, because I've been around TJ for a while now. Obviously, you have as well. What is the hardest part of rescheduling? I mean, we had Todd on last week, so a game gets canceled or he has to call us no day. Now you're rescheduling a game. I'm sure TJ's talking with the athletic director. If he doesn't yell to his office from you or to you, how do you know? Are you in contact with those ADs or secretaries to make sure everyone's on the same page?
I will say TJ primarily picks the new date, then it's just making sure that our families know, which a lot of our coaches do a great job with communicating with their own teams, but making sure that our families know, making sure that so we've got boosters running concessions. We have to make sure they know that the game has changed, and they've got workers. We have to make sure Shelly Monis, who's our ticket manager, she makes sure that her workers can now change dates. The announcers, the referees, the athletic trainer, we've got to let Mary know, actually, we don't have a game now. We're going to change it to this day. So it's really just, there's a list of our bus drivers. If it was an away game, we no longer need this bus. We now need a different day. So we kind of mentioned at the beginning, making sure all the pieces to a game day are told the right information. And making sure that no one is left out. And sometimes it's hard to remember, especially on the fly.
Yeah.
You know, for a softball or baseball game that's canceled 30 minutes before the bus is going to leave, it's
Right.
possible. And then you have to let everyone know. So there's a lot of people that go into the game day, and they all need to know when it's changed.
And a shout out too to you mentioned transportation, you mentioned maintenance a little bit. Like Frank Roposh, you know, I'm trying to get Frank to come on. Tony would never come on the show. She refused to come on the podcast.
We should have Frank or transportation
Frank,
too.
Randy Usher, Amy Norris over at transportation. Like you said it the other day. Like our we see as the teams are coming to us for events, we see the struggles of other school districts and their transportation departments, and ours just doesn't.
Ours, I tell them when I call, I go, please work your magic, and they do. I don't know how they get it done, but they do. They work their magic. They're amazing, and there are very, very, very few times we have to tell one of our coaches or we have to tell another school of, you know, we've got to change up our busing. 9.9 times out of 10, our transportation department makes sure our requests are followed through.
Yeah, Steve Lawson down there as well. Like Steve will drive buses. He's our mechanic. You know, he's certified to drive them, of course, but it pulls away from what he's doing. Randy, I know we had a wrestling conflict last week with CVC. Randy was willing to drive the bus. We ended up not having to have him do it, but he was willing to do it if he needed to. He knew we needed to be there at a certain time. So they go above and beyond. And, you know, Jim Smith and his crew, you know, they're showing up at 3:30 in the morning to plow, to get kids in the building. But then our second shift guys have to keep plowing to make sure our sidewalks are handled and that no one's slipping on the ice and things like that as we transition into sort of the second half of the day, which is that 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. time frame when our events are happening. So it's really a team effort overall, and it's a great place to be. So yeah, I think we're rolling along, and spring will be here. Don't worry.
Oh, I know.
In a little bit.
I know.
All right, Ashley, before we get you out of here, just some get-to-know-you questions. We'll get you back down to the office, and all heck's breaking loose probably down there. So what is your favorite food?
Philly cheesesteak.
Okay. Any particular restaurant?
I've been to Philadelphia one
okay.
time, so I've been to Gino's, which, I mean,
What's
was...
the other one? Gino's and Tony's? That'd be too easy.
No, and they're real close to each other.
Yeah,
This
they're
was
right
They
there.
are,
always
because I
when we
actually think I
traveled
went
for
to both
cabs
of them,
Yeah.
Yes.
and I can only think of Gino's.
Okay.
So, yeah.
But you've been to the real Philly. You've had a real Philly cheesesteak.
I've had a real Philly, yep.
Favorite movie, and if not a movie, television show?
So I do love the sports shows, like the series Friday Night Lights is one of my favorites, but my absolute favorite TV show is Gilmore Girls.
Okay.
Lorelai Gilmore is my favorite TV character of all time.
Well, you and Katie have to talk then because she's watched every episode like 3 times.
Me too.
So,
Me
okay.
too. It is my favorite.
You guys can have at it.
Yep.
Favorite app or game on your phone?
So I've made a real push to not be on social media.
Yeah.
So I deleted Facebook and Instagram, but Block Blast is my addiction right now. It's
Okay.
essentially Tetris.
Yeah. Okay.
But they give you different challenges. So you can like play the classic Block Blast, which is like Tetris, or you can do like different daily challenges. And so, you know.
Okay. Any hobbies outside of, you're obviously very athletic driven, but
Yeah.
anything outside of this world we live in here, Perry Athletics?
I enjoy photography.
Okay.
So I like taking pictures of my kids.
Yeah.
Do they
and then-
like it?
They do.
Okay.
They do. They don't mind it. So photography would be my big hobby outside of sports.
Okay. And favorite memory so far of your time at Perry can be anything and everything.
Definitely going to the state championship.
Yeah.
Being on the field, having a sideline pass for that, and actually getting to mix in photography. Don Bubonic was there.
Yeah.
Don Bubonic has amazing equipment, way
Yeah.
better than anything I have.
Yeah.
She took 2 cameras and she asked me, she gave me one, or, you know, let me
Yeah.
use one and said, hey, take whatever pictures you want. So we get multiple angles. And so I got to use some of her equipment and take some of the pictures at the state championship game. And the entire day was just perfect.
It was really
amazing.
was.
Yep.
Absolutely. All right. Visit any place in the world. Where did you go?
Australia.
Australia.
My grandma went there way back when I was in elementary, and I just remember her telling me how amazing it was. And I mean, I've never been there, but
Yeah.
it just seems tropical, and just the being below the equator. I think everything being opposite, it would be.
It would be cool.
Yeah.
Long plane ride.
It
I've
would
heard.
be.
I've
yes.
never been either. But
but that would be where.
it'd be worth it.
Yeah.
All right, Ashley Guestwich, athletic
All right.
secretary.
Thank you.
Here at Perry. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for
and
having me.
thanks for all that you do, Ashley.
Okay.
Yeah, still a lot to cover. There's a ton of sports that we still have to look at. But again, it's that nice part in between Ashley and Tony as well.
Yeah.
A big help on the streaming side too, getting rosters, helping supply me with some of that,
Yeah.
and it between the two of them has made the last 7 years of broadcast so much easier.
Absolutely. Well, and I mean, again, I know just going to different schools, sort of back to the transportation thing, that we seem to just do it better. I think streaming wise too, like it's incredible. There's schools out there that aren't doing it at all. Like I will email or text other ADs, is there a stream tonight? No, we're not streaming. Like we stream everything, and it's fantastic. So it's great when. I would love sometimes, like last night, Geneva had probably a few more people than we did in the stands for that game. I would have loved to have some more butts in the seats, but it's also great when for grandparents or from relatives that aren't here that can watch. Siblings at college can watch their brothers or sisters play. It's pretty darn cool.
Yeah, and that's the part. And I think that's if there was one, I guess, good thing about COVID was that helped. Spear a lot of that the streaming.
Absolutely.
Even though Perry was doing it, I want to say 2 years before COVID, because you guys were way out ahead of that before. But that kind of opened it up for everyone to come in and stream and watch and be able to still support their teams, especially when you had to do a couple games with no fans or when you were everyone was isolated from each other, so far away.
Times.
Yeah, it's a different how far along things have come in those last 7-8 years, or even the 5 years since COVID in the streaming and the high school world to get their product out there.
Are you streaming tonight?
I'm going to Cavs, but I
you
think
got
we're
Cavs.
streaming
We'll
tonight.
stream
I think no
tonight,
announcer
one way
but
or the
streaming
other.
tonight.
Okay, we'll stream.
Because I'm hoping to be able to watch it while I'm
While
working.
you're working.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
Yes.
Yeah, girls tonight against Gilmore, 6 p.m. varsity only. So if you're used to coming at 6:45 or 7 o'clock after 2 quarters of JV, it's not going to be that way tonight. 6 p.m. varsity only start against Gilmore. Very good team. Our girls dropped a tough one against Chagrin last week. Back and forth game. Still a great experience for us. You get to practice some of those, things that you're going to need in postseason play to convert and make big plays at the end of games. And we just came up on the short end. Chagrin was unconscious from 3,
Right.
And they hit a couple of big shots at the end.
Well, that was the part I was watching it from a softball camp, and I thought for sure when they went with that Christian Leitner play to Emily right before the time
awesome.
expired, that she was going to turn around and hit it. But as you mentioned, once they got into overtime, the Tigers wore them down a little bit, and they were able to come out with that win. But it was two teams that were kind of in the same boat. Two teams that are short on numbers, don't have really the JV roster.
Yeah.
But the girls that were out there, played and performed very well. And you mentioned a good one with Gilmore tonight, Rootstown coming up. I mean, the end
Riverside
of this schedule
next week.
for the girls is one that will definitely get them ready for the postseason.
Absolutely. And we're 6 of the max preps right now, so dropped a couple of spots there. But if we can get Gilmore tonight, we'll go right back up. And then our seed meeting is this coming Sunday. So Coach Infalvi's got a little bit of pre-Super Bowl work to do on Sunday, and we'll know by next week on the pod where we're at from a postseason standpoint. If we're at, we'll probably have at least 1 home game, maybe 2. And we'll know here soon enough.
And then on the flip side of that, the girls are home for a long time, but the boys, they are closing out their season a lot on the road. But they had a good one last night with Geneva, but that's also coming off a win on Friday against West Street.
5 in a row now for the boys. So we're sitting at 8-8. So from 1.3-8 to 8-8, and we've climbed. I think we're up to 12th now, 14th before last night, and Geneva was 8-4 coming in. So I know we're moving up, a projected move up to 12th. And if we could, we've got a couple of tough matchups this week still. Orange on the road is never a fun place to play. And then at Girard on Saturday down in Youngstown. So 2 tough road games. 2 more tough road games the following week. We're at Kirtland and then at Madison in a big rivalry game. So and then Coach Isfano will have his meeting on the 15th, so the following Sunday. So all 4 of those games that we have left prior to that on the road, all count towards our seed. Obviously, we want to would love if we could get 2 or 3 wins, we'd be in the top 10 in overall RPI, Martin RPI. But even if we can split them up, I think we're going to be in that 12 to 15 range, which is a good spot to be out of 42 teams.
Yeah.
And so 4 road games in a row now, and then they'll have 2 at the end. We'll have senior night on the 17th of February against Jefferson, and then Bard Academy from a rescheduled game earlier this month in January on February 20th, and our first postseason game will more likely than not be the following Friday, the 27th of February.
Yeah, you're in that spot again. When they started to make this run, they had the 3 games in 5 days.
Yeah.
What they have this week, 3 games in 5 days
Yeah.
with the back-to-back coming up on the weekend. So hopefully they keep that momentum going on that side. Last week we talked about the girls wrestling. They traveled with the middle school off to Bellefontaine.
Yeah, and it was a rough weekend. We talked to Coach Dominich the other day, not from a wrestling standpoint, like we were disappointed in how the girls wrestled, but an injury standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
We had a lot of people banged up going into that tournament, and then the girls that did wrestle all seemed to get banged up as well. But I know Cora Mann finished second. She was a middle school wrestler for us that went with the team, and so she got second place. That was our best overall finish. But now this is the time of year you don't want to be injured.
Yeah.
You want to be fresh. You want to be healthy, and I know that'll be our focus. As we continue to get ready for sectionals for girls and boys wrestling here in February. The girls will travel to Conneaut on Sunday to participate in a tournament out in Conneaut.
And you teased it a little bit earlier when Mary Lynn was on, but the boys wrestling team, they went over to Hawkins CVC Championships.
Yeah.
They come away champions.
Yeah, Chagrin Division champions. The way the CVC splits it up, you've got 3 divisions over there. And so we were Chagrin Division champs, finished second overall, the West Geauga. We'll get a chance for revenge against the Wolverines this Saturday. But that was 6 years in a row that we've won our division in the CVC. And now we get, again, state team duels, which you have to be seeded in and have to be invited by the Ohio Wrestling Coaches Association to participate in. It's not open to everybody. So we are the 3 seed. West G is the 2 seed. So it means we go to them. This is an event that we've hosted the last 2 or 3 years, and now we got to take to the road, and it's just a duel. We have Padua first. West G gets a bye. 1 team dropped out. The 4th seeded team dropped out. So due to injury and so on. So we're Padua first for us at 10 a.m. If you want to travel over to West Geauga, please come out and support this team. If we get past Padua, then we would wrestle West Geauga with the opportunity of advancing to Columbus. The winner of that match will advance to Bishop Watterson High School on Valentine's Day to participate in the state team dual championships, which is the top 8 teams in Division II.
And then, I think you explained it a little bit last year, and when Coach Stren was on a little bit earlier, he talked about it. But duels are different. I mean, this is, you're trying to mix and match and find the best opponent for that match, and maybe not everyone wrestles, and you're trying to make sure you solidify that mark next week.
Absolutely, you're getting creative in terms of, do you have somebody here that can take a forfeit because they don't have a weight class, and every point in a duel is critical. I mean, we wrestled Mayfield earlier this year, and it was such a tightly contested duel. We tied at 39. We had to go to the 6th tiebreaker rule. I can't even remember what it was. I'm sure Coach Trentinelli probably knows, but it was the 6th one that Mayfield got us on. So there's all these other tiebreakers that are out there, and so it really can come down, the difference between just winning a match 4-2 versus pinning your opponent is a 3-point difference. 6 points for a pin, 3 points for just a victory. And there's also a 4-point option and a 5-point option. And so there's lots of strategy that goes into it, and it's pretty mathematically intriguing, all the different options that are out there. And so I know our coaches do a great job of figuring out. They do a lot of scouting. Mm-hmm. They do a lot of, obviously they saw West G wrestle last week. They know who they have. They know what their strong points are, and they certainly know our team, and they know what our strong points are and what our weak points are. So, and we'll plan accordingly to that. And hopefully, we can come on top on Saturday over the Wolverines and the Padua team first.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, with the success of bringing that championship back, Trent Taylor, who we've had on a number of times, I must have received 3 different texts throughout the day from parents that were there that know I'm in Perry, just talking about the phenomenal job that he had wrestling the other heavyweights.
Yes.
The size difference, the straight, like everything that went into that for him to continue to succeed and help get the team to that championship level. It was funny. Like one came in, that was like 5 minutes, 10 minutes later, another text came in like, this kid, I don't know what his name is, but the heavyweight that you guys have is amazing. So
that's awesome.
Trent, not only doing it on the football field and taking his talents to BG, but also doing it on the mat.
Absolutely. He's done a great job. He's certainly a senior leader for us on this team, and he probably couldn't even tell you what his record is. He doesn't care about that kind of stuff, but he wrestles his tail off every single time. We had an exciting finish with him at Pin City. He was down. We talked about that a little bit. I think he was down in that match, pretty big. And he'll be the first to tell you he was getting his butt kicked, and then came back and literally picked the kid up and pinned him. He's an impressive individual, and sometimes these duels come down to heavyweight.
Sure.
And there's no other person I'd rather have in our corner as our last match. If Trent Taylor, if our win depends on Trent Taylor, I'm in. I'm pretty confident we're going to Columbus if that's the case.
And the last winter sports team that we have not touched on is gymnastics. They were at or faced Riverside last week over in Menor.
Yeah, Legs again, a facility there in Menor, and they, the coaches, Coach Arups, we'll have her on as we get in. We had her on last year for our postseason run that we enjoyed with. As we went down to the district and state level with Macy and Marley, and all of the girls from last year. So we'll have her on. But Legs does a great job. She's coaching Perry. She's coaching Riverside, Menor, Chardon. I know Marley talked about it when she was on. So I know they're everything they're doing now is just like all of our other teams. It's really prep work for this postseason and how far can we go and how much success can we have, and I know they're working hard.
Yeah, a lot of events going on for Perry Athletics, not only at home but on the road this weekend. So get out and support one of or multiple of the Perry teams. The athletes obviously need that support, and a lot of them coming down the stretch now.
All right, well, Gene, we'll wrap up week 21. We thought it would be a shorter podcast. It ended up being just about as long as last week, so hopefully everybody can stay with us. We like to be around an hour. We don't want to take up anybody's time. But again, a little good behind the scenes peek today. Had a couple of people down that are just integral to the success of our programming and to our athletic department overall. So loved having Ashley and Mary on and talking about all of our teams. And hopefully you guys like hearing about it. And we'll continue and be back for week 22 next week. Until then, go Pirates.